So if you ever find yourself thinking that the problem is out there, that very thought is the problem itself. We refer to this as the be, do, have versus have, do, be. I know of people all the time that say, if I only had a raise, then I would do more work, and then I would be happy in my job. Can you see how that's exactly backwards? Instead saying, I'm going to be as productive as I possibly could be by doing those things that are most value to the firm, and then I will have the type of position that I want, or have the money that I want, or you move on. See, external circumstances is what too many people look for. When this happens, then. I used to do it all the time in college. When finals are over, I'll be happy. When I'm done with this class, I'll be happy. But if you don't live for the moment, then there's always going to be some other if-then situation that comes along. Always. There's always going to be a situation. I recognized this last year especially. I had two partners, both 35 years of age. They died in a plane crash. Now, here's the best news about all of that, is that they lived life to the highest level while they were here. They didn't say, we're going to wait, and then when 30 years from now, we're going to retire, and then life will be good. That's not how they lived their life. They lived it by each moment and each day. And one of the guys was a radio show host. I'm a co-host with him. I was a co-host with him, and now I host the show. And each day he said, this is Les McGuire, the man who loves his life. And so that seemed like such a simple tagline. But when you really start to think about what he was saying, and you really start to analyze it, what he's saying is, each day is a blessing. Each thing that happens is a lesson. Each moment is an opportunity. And what would it take to be the type of person that loved their life in this moment? Not, I'll be happy when I graduate and I get the right job. Not, I'll be happy when whatever. Just think, each day, if you were to wake up, and just do this. Each day wake up. This is your abundance exercise. Just wake up in the morning, and first thing in the morning, say at least 5 things you're thankful for. Every morning. What are you grateful for? You know, it's like, my wife was blow drying her hair this morning, and she said, I hate my hair. I said to her, it sure is nice to have it though, isn't it? Do you like it better than the alternative? And she said, I guess I do. See, everything in life and everything we value is all about perspective. So it's amazing when we get a better perspective on what's going on, how easy it is to deal with situations that once seemed to be so difficult, or such a burden, or such a big deal. And part of the way to do that is start to express gratitude for those people that have created value in your life, and start to express gratitude for the great things that you have about your life, and that will foster abundance. If all you focus on are all the things that you lack, you're going to become a consumer. You're going to become more miserable. And to me, on a very real level, that's the satanic influence, is scarcity. You want to see wonderful people full of potential do insane things, watch those people in scarcity. The interesting thing about it is money happens to be one of the things that creates some of the most scarcity-minded things that I've ever seen. People destroy years and years and years of relationship over one little issue about money. People don't live the life that they want to live based upon they don't think that they have enough or there isn't enough money. People don't pursue the professions that they want to pursue and do the things they want to do because they think if they go do the things that are going to earn money in the short term, that'll make the difference. Once again, that's a someday attitude. Someday, I'll have enough money to do the things I love to do. Look, start to think, what is it that you love to do now? And start to do those things if that's not what you're already doing. That's what's going to cultivate you being the best producer you can be. Any of us can create some amount of value, but what about creating the maximum amount of value? Get this, and it will be as valuable as any strategy, tool, technique, education that you can have. You see people that have millions and millions of dollars, but you know you have more intelligence than them. They're just dumb enough to believe in abundance and live in it. Sometimes we're so smart, we can think of all the reasons why scarcity exists. What about being just smart enough to say, look, I'm going to accept that there's abundance. I'm going to accept that I can make this next choice. Even though what happened in the past is difficult, I'm going to make the next best option with the next choice. You know, think about the widows and the kids that were left behind from my two partners. When you're around the spouses, it's inspiring because of their view of life, because of their perspective and what they were thankful for up until that, like what did they get to experience up until that point? Well, that's why they felt lost, is because of all the great things that happened before then. And just because their husbands continue to live principle and have those conversations, we've seen amazing results in the way that they're raising their family, the way that they're living their life, the perspective they continue to have on a day-to-day basis, the way they inspire other people that have gone through difficult things in their life. I mean, I went to the funeral, and at the end, I was inspired to be a greater person. Why? Because if you commit to living your life as a producer and to be extraordinary, you're going to have to do a few things. Number one, you're going to have to break some social agreements. Social agreements are what everyone knows to be normal at that time, what everyone knows to be reasonable. More success is limited by reasonable people than we could imagine. Sometimes it takes being unreasonable. Now let me explain that a little bit. We have so many reasons. I would do this, but. I could do this, but. It's all of these buts that we bring up, right? But being unreasonable would say, look, I know this is out of the ordinary. I know this is extraordinary. I know that, taking a midnight flight to get somewhere. I know that driving somewhere to spend some time with someone, to create some value for them. I know that, spending money to further my education outside of just the classroom. All these things are unreasonable. But those are the things that make the difference. When we go beyond our reasons for staying where we currently are. That's the definition that I'm talking about. So let's talk about a few of the paradigms. Consumers versus producers, we talked about that. See, consumers look to take value, and many times they still create value. And another thing to consider is we're consumers and producers just at different times and in different areas of our life. It's not just financially, it's what about our relationships? It's what about, every interaction that we have on a day-to-day basis. It's in our physical lives. Are we being producers or consumers? Are we being stewards over our bodies? Are we doing the things to remain healthy and create favorable conditions that way? Are we doing things, mentally to continue to educate ourselves beyond just the standard going to class and taking tests? So time and money spent in helping men do more for themselves is far better than mere giving. See, that's helping people increase their human life value, not just temporarily solve a situation with whether it's money. That's why money will never fix problems, because it's just, if something's broken, it's got a hole in it, and you just put something in it, there's still a hole where it's leaking. You got to patch the hole. You got to figure out what's wrong, what can be done, how do you shift the paradigm? The noblest aim in life is to strive to live to make other lives happier and better. Win-lose versus win-win. Think about it. If you're doing the things that you love to do the most, the things that your natural talents, your natural abilities, and you focus on that and you live in that, and you do those things, your combination of unique ability is different than any other person in the world. The exact way that you view the world, the exact thoughts that you have, the exact things of how you go about getting things done. And if that's unique, then someone else couldn't do it just as efficient as you. And by them hiring you, they now can spend the time in the things that they can do that is most unique. Both parties can end up winning. That's win-win. Because you're not going to value your natural abilities the same way someone would value them that doesn't have it. And so entering into that exchange is what creates wealth. It's the actual diversity that we all have that brings about a reason for all of us to help each other. Too many people and too much that's out there thinks that life's about win-lose. It's a zero-sum game. Life's a gamble. Some are lucky, some aren't. One person wins, someone else has more money, that means less money for the next person. That's win-lose. Win-win says, if I help someone else out, I can make more money, and so can they, based upon the help that I just gave them. Analyze that in your life. How many times do you hope that you get such a good deal when you buy something that you wouldn't care whether the other person made money or not? Is that win-win? Like, think of your very favorite restaurant. Would you want to go to your favorite restaurant, pay 50% of what you're paying now, but then 2 months later you find that the restaurant goes out of business? Don't you hope it's win-win? Don't you hope that you're able to get that food, but they also make a profit so that they stay in business and they can continue to serve you? That's actually contributing to someone's human life value. They've taken their abilities and they've brought it forth to you so that you could enjoy it. Don't you hope it's win-win? This whole language of I got a good deal or I got ripped off is all the win-lose language that's out there. People that spend all day long looking for the good deal, at what expense? What was their time worth? What was the time worth of the person that put it out? Ultimately, the way I hope to live my life on a day-to-day basis and what I've been working towards every day is where money's not the primary reason or excuse for me doing or not doing anything. That I don't ever say that I can't afford something, that I ask, how can I afford it by creating enough value? And it's only one determinant, not the determinant. See, if our vote with our dollar is always that we want the cheapest thing, then that's the type of life that we're going to live. People not producing the highest quality, but producing the cheapest thing. Now, sometimes the highest quality could be very economical, but there's other times where maybe we're placing our vote for something that it's breaking down after a day or it's not working, but that's what we keep saying that we want. That's win-lose. Selfishness versus self-interest. See, everyone does something because they get a payoff. And most people out there, they're thinking, what is going to make me happy? But see, the consumer's deceived. They're trying to do something that's going to make them happy, but the actual payoff is short-sighted and selfish. The easy example for me is it's so much easier just to sleep in rather than go work out in the mornings. Way easier. So much easier. But it's selfish because then, in my best interest, as time goes on, that's not what would cultivate the ideal environment or the best preferred methods of me accomplishing what I'm out to accomplish. So selfishness is deceitful because it makes us think that we're going to be happy in the moment. Not taking care of something, not, lying to someone. That's all selfish because in the moment it makes us happy, but what does it do to us long term? In economics, you talk about secondary consequences, right? Rippling effects. You have to understand that. That's the real cost. So short-sightedness and selfishness is a payoff, but it doesn't understand the full ramifications and full spectrum of the cost to your ultimate happiness. Self-interest does. Self-interest is engaging in the things that help you to feel fulfilled in the service of others. And so, I have a Wealth of Nations quote here. If you want some really light reading, you could read that book. But it's, in people's self-interest that they actually promote and benefit society. It's a benevolent power, actually.